Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have one of my favorite players in the entire system. And if you don't believe me, I got receipts all over my social media, all over my podcast. Bubba Alleyne, one of the most positive energy people that I have ever seen play the game of baseball. Bubba, how the heck are you, man?
I'm good, Casey. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on the show today.
Okay, first of all, got to see the shirt. See the shirt.
Oh, yeah. Got to show off the Terps.
Repping the Terps today, and then the hat.
Always. Then the little Tulsa hat.
Okay.
Repping Tulsa. Always.
You know, I've been coaching and teaching high school for 3 decades now. You know what they call that? What you got on right there?
They call it the drip.
Yeah, you got drip. You got drip, Bubba.
Yeah,
that's what they call that, right?
I'm learning.
Absolutely. Okay, so what a great year it was for you. I know as far as the team goes, I mean, whatever. You had all the transactions and injuries, and the win-loss record wasn't perfect. But
right.
For an individual season for you, it was definitely your best season as a professional. That had to be a lot of fun for you.
Oh, my God, it was a blast. Honestly, just learned a lot being in AA this year. Obviously moved up a level from last year, and just a huge learning experience and just really having fun along the way. It was nice to be with a bunch of the same guys that I've kind of been with, and it was really, honestly, a fun year and just learned a lot, really.
Yeah. So that jump from high A to AA a lot of times is the one that guys will say is the most difficult, but yet you had more success at AA than you did in the past. So what was that jump like for you?
Honestly, the jump was difficult, but I think just with the training and preparation and just learning the things I did last year in high A and just really trying to put that together, I think I made the jump a little bit easier having a tough year last year, just kind of learning from those things, learning what I was exposed to and the things I didn't do well, and kind of trying to focus on those things as well as keep mastering the things I'm already good at. And just, it was kind of a culmination of all that. And, kind of led to some positives this year. Obviously still building, but it was fun to see some success.
You got off to a great start your first month there in May, your first full month. You hit over 300, like 330. Your OPS was over 900. You were making defensive assists from the outfield. You were stealing bases, making plays with your legs. Talk about that hot start you got off to.
Yeah, honestly, it was just Henny was just excited to get me in the lineup, and he's like, hey, man, when you get in there, just have fun and go play your game. And that's just what I did. I kind of just relaxed. It was nice to have some support from the guys around me as well. It was just kind of playing stress-free baseball and having fun with the game, and it rewards you in those ways. So it was really an enjoyable experience to start off the season. And, I just had fun making plays on defense for the pitchers. I know they're working hard. They're working their butts off, and just being able to be reliable out there for them and just trying to score runs in any way, make something happen is kind of what makes me good on the field. So just really enjoying that and having fun.
Super talented on the field, no doubt, but your calling card is your positive energy you play with, just the positive outlook that you have with everything that you do in life. I got to know where that came from. I got to know what the sauce is. I got to order me some, man.
Honestly, it hasn't always been like that. I've definitely been times where I've been really hard on myself, and honestly, it hasn't always worked out the best that way. So just trying to keep everything positive. Everything's a learning experience, and it's been a long road in the minors, man. It's a tough grind, but trying to kind of keep it positive and just learn and keep learning, because you can never know too much in this game. There's always people around you can learn from, coaches, teammates, fans, whatever it is. So it's just kind of keeping that growth mindset, kind of something I learned in college, and kind of just really falling back on that and just really trying to stay positive and enjoy the experience. We're not going to be able to play baseball forever, so I think it's one of the coolest jobs in the world. So just being able to kind of soak it in has really been fun for me.
I've never asked you this question, but I think I probably already know the answer. Really cool that your manager, Henny, has the exact same type of outlook on things. He does not allow people to get negative. He forces you to ball out, but do so in a positive outlook on everything. So I would imagine you and him align very well.
Oh, yeah, me and Henny got really close this year. From the start of the year, even from spring training, we kind of just clicked right away. And I talked to him on the phone at least like once a week this offseason, just keeping up, seeing how we're doing, seeing how he's doing. And he was a real big influence for me this season, and just in terms of getting going and being positive and just having good results in the field. He was a huge part of that for me, and just continuing going forward, just to have him in my corner will be big just for the mental side of the game too. I mean, he taught me so much this year, just about baseball and just life in general. So, I mean, can't thank him enough for everything that we kind of did this season. And I know the record wasn't what he wanted, but for me, I mean, he was a huge positive piece of that. So just can't thank him enough, and excited he's in AAA and see what he does there.
100%. So you were the 2022 B1G Big Ten Player of the Year. There, Maryland. Let me see the sweatshirt again. What does that say? Maryland baseball. Yeah, 2022 Player of the Year in the Big Ten, Bubba. Right. So really, you've had just a tremendous amount of success in this game. You get in the minor leagues, and one of the big lessons you learn is how to deal with the fact that this game isn't as easy as you always thought it was. Right. Yeah. So how did you deal with that part of it?
Like you said, yeah, this game is very humbling, and I mean, right when you think that you're the best, like, it shows you that you're just not there yet. So. Definitely it was hard experiencing that, especially in low A, when you think you're going to come in and kind of dominate. And it kind of got me back into a mode of just working really hard like I did in college. And every single year in college, I think I kind of increased and got better and better every year. The numbers got better and better every year, and kind of just translating and bringing that same mindset over to the minors, not trying to be somebody I'm not, but just trying to steadily improve and learn, like I said. And so every year I feel like I've just gotten better. And mentally, I've just gotten stronger, and I feel like it's starting to show on the field, and just trying to keep those steps going and just keep building one by one. And so it's been a fun transition, and obviously this game is hard, and it's never going to really not be hard. But I think that's what keeps us coming back. I think that's what keeps baseball players loving this game, is that you can't really beat this game. You can't be perfect. It's just every day you got to go out there and give your best. So I think that's been a huge piece for me, and I'm kind of excited to keep doing that this year, moving into the 2025 season.
As you've moved up the ladder and you've seen kind of what it's going to take to be a consistent major leaguer as you move up, what adjustments have you had to make?
Everything. I mean, just the way that I approach the game, the way that I approach eating, but taking care of my body. I mean, it all really has come into play and matters. So it just kind of changing the way that I do my daily life. I mean, this is our job now, so everything's kind of based around this. So just really the dedication, everything is kind of geared towards baseball and kind of being in the big leagues and doing this. So it's been kind of like an adjustment on everything, you know, like even my off-season regimen has been adjusted. Every single year has gotten better, just learning from the guys above me. We had, Brandon Lewis, Brendan Davis, having some guys to learn from, just pick their brains, especially at the end of the season, saying, hey, like, you guys have had a lot of success. What do your off seasons look like? How are you taking care of your body? And just so learning the different tricks and learning from the guys around me has really been huge too. So I really enjoyed doing that and picking those guys' brains, because they were very important for me.
Incredible finish for you. You hit 303 in September. Your OPS was 858 also in the last month there in September as well. So bookends. You had a great start. You had a great finish. You had to feel like you took a lot of momentum into the offseason.
Oh, absolutely. And finishing strong is something that I always believed in. I think Okoye Dickinson, hitting coach last year in Great Lakes, he was really big on that, and finishing strong and just showing them the org what you can do, showing the fans what you can do, especially around postseason time. That's a big time. Those games really matter. So just kind of buckling down and doing what needs to be done to kind of get some wins, and is really big for me. So kind of getting that mental fortitude to finish strong. It's tough. The season's long, but really just finding something at the end there to get through the season, and ended up having a good finish, which I was really happy about. Me and Dylan Shaka kind of worked on some things that I've been struggling with in the middle of the season swing-wise, and it was good to see some success on that, especially heading into the offseason, so I can build on that.
You mentioned Okoye Dixon. I got to see him in Oklahoma City hit some bombs. The Big O, right? Okay, so did you ever get to see him take any batting practice there at Great Lakes?
OD, we saw OD take a few swings. He still has the power. It's still there. It's still in there for sure.
Dude can absolutely drop bombs.
Oh my God! Yeah, we would watch videos of him hit all the time in Great Lakes, put it on the jumbotron and whatnot. So it's awesome to see OD hit back there. The dude's just born to be a hitter.
Still have the bat flip?
He still got it. I'm trying to learn how he does it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what things do you feel like Bubba Alleyne is doing well enough right now to be a consistent major leaguer? What things do you still think you have to work on the most?
So I think for me, the big thing I do well is I show up every day ready to play, and I think that's such a big part of playing this 162 game season in the big leagues is just showing up every day ready to work, give your best effort. And like I said, on the defensive side of the ball, I think I've done a great job of that. Offensively, I think getting on base and setting the table, I think I've done a great job. I think I can really improve on the bases side of it, stealing bases, and honestly, just having a little bit more walks and a little bit less strikeouts, so kind of just owning my zone more. And I think it just ultimately comes down to me just not trying to do too much and just trusting who I am and the work that I put in. I think when I'm just having fun and playing the game and playing to win, everything looks good. When I start to press a little bit and things start to get a little big, then it's not as good. So I feel like it just ultimately just comes down to me just settling in, not trying to do too much, and just trusting the work that I put in.
It's amazing all those lessons that you learn as you go up through this very difficult game, this wonderful game. But you're a switch hitter and you're a natural right-hander. And so this is always an interesting situation because you see more right-handers by about 70%, even at the minor league level. So you're about 70% of the time you're actually hitting on the non-natural side of your switch hitting side.
Right.
So how has that worked for you?
It's interesting because like you said, I was a natural righty, and I faced way more righty, so I'm hitting lefty a lot more. So in the offseason, especially putting in a lot of work lefty, trying to make that feel as natural as it can. But last year in the Great High, I think it was the first year I really didn't get a lot of righty at-bats at all. So that was kind of a struggle for me, learning how to balance that and stay ready to be in there righty when I do face a lefty. And so I made some adjustments with that this year, whether it was just staying righty. I mean, I take predominantly most of my rounds lefty in the cage, but staying righty, because like I said, it is natural for me, but just keeping the reps going and staying consistent with that work as well, just because, like I said, the matchups, whatever it is, people bring in lefties and whatnot during the game. So honestly, this was my favorite year for that in terms of staying on top of both sides and really being consistent with that and moving forward. So I think I kind of find a routine that works for me, still building, but I really found something that works for me in terms of being consistent and getting good reps on both sides during the season.
That's interesting you mentioned the reps because I've always heard coaches say, well, hey, if you want to be a switch hitter, that's fine. If you take 50 cuts a day, that doesn't mean 25 are right-handed and 25 are left-handed. Mm-hmm. That means 50 right-handed and 50 left-handed. That means you exactly doubled your workload. And I always started thinking, well, if 75% of my at-bats are going to be left-handed, then why wouldn't I want 75% of my practice swings to be left-handed?
Right.
Is that kind of how you portion it out?
It depends on how I'm feeling. Like I said, like the season's long, and one week you feel really good righty, another day you can feel good lefty. So just kind of balancing that and having some feel with it. Obviously, like some days I feel really good righty and like, oh, okay, like I need to do some work lefty today in the cage to get ready for this game. Or I feel really good on both, and it's kind of like a light day in the cage. So it's really just having some feel with it and just being in tune with both sides, not forgetting about one or the other really. But it was a day-to-day, week-to-week kind of grind, staying ready on both sides, being ready to go. So it was fun kind of building that process. This was kind of the first year that I really, really buckled down on that and focused as equally on both sides, just at different times of the season. So it was an awesome transition into really focusing on that.
Do the Dodgers give you ownership of that process in terms of what type of focus you want to have each day in the cage, or do they already make that plan for you?
I mean, they do a great job of giving us ownership and making us own our own play. And I think that's what makes this organization so good. And I think that's why you see the players in this organization are so good. Even when they go to other places, I think the freedom that they allow us and the direction that they give us, I think the combination of those two is just elite. And I think that's why they groom so many elite players in this org. And obviously our record didn't show it this year, but I mean, we had a very talented team all throughout the players. And I think we kind of build off each other. And I think learning those processes, I think, are important, and learning each other's processes, especially as we go up, holding people accountable and holding ourselves accountable, I think is huge. So I think the org does a great job in giving us some direction and then kind of letting us make our own plan with that.
One thing you've always taken a lot of pride in is your defense, and you had a tremendous year defensively in the outfield. You threw runners out. You made some great catches. So talk about the pride you've taken in your defense and the strides that you made, maybe some changes you've made.
Yeah, defense has always been something I take pride in. I mean, coming from an infielder going to college and leaving college as an outfielder was definitely interesting. And playing the corners, I think, in Rancho was my first year, or my first time ever playing left and right field, and just really growing and learning from every experience. And I've had some great outfield coaches, and JB and Daniel Nava really helped me along the way. And so it's really just been the effort and the work in BP. This year I really put attention on working in BP, and I would almost just mean working endlessly in BP, working on different routes, different
taking fly balls off of live bats. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of a lot of work with that. And I think that's what we really helped see the difference this year in the outfield. For me, was just endless reps. I mean, every play I made in the game, I feel like I made in practice at least 10 times. So that was really something I focused on, and just being reliable for pitchers. I mean, it's awesome having pitchers come in the dugout and just give you a knuckles or a high five or whatever, making a good play for them, and just knowing that they feel comfortable with you out there is just a nice feeling. So just trying to work for that and just kind of build some comfort for those guys, making it a little easier for them to go out and pitch. And so that's really something I take pride in and enjoy doing.
It's 150. It's July. You've played 86 days in a row. You're going to play 86 days a row coming in the future, right? And then Henny's out there in left field hitting you 150 ground balls in the outfield. And he just has endless energy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. And honestly, like, it was awesome to feed off that. I mean, if he can be out there doing it in the 100-degree weather, I mean, we can be out there doing it too. So feeding off him, and he's just, I mean, he's an awesome manager. He's an awesome guy, really.
Yeah. So, you talk about the jump from being in Maryland, which was a great level of baseball, to pro ball, and then all the jumps in pro ball from, the complex to affiliated ball, then to high A, then to double A. Which jump would you say has been the hardest for you?
For me, the hardest was probably just the transition into pro ball. It was just such a different way, just seeing the game completely differently. And now that it was our job, and not as much like your teammates playing, it's more just you're playing, you're trying to really rise in the ranks, and you're playing with your teammates, but you're competing against them at the same time. That was a whole new thing for me. Like, all I focused on before was winning. It's still to me, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. So just making that transition into really focusing on myself and also winning at the same time, and not just winning. In college, I really didn't care how my performance was necessarily, as long as we got the win. And so now it's been a little bit more of a, I don't want to say selfish mentality, but definitely focusing a little bit more on myself and things I need to do to get better, to get to the next level and move up to the next level. So that was definitely a tough transition for me, just because I've never kind of been one of those players who really focus on themselves a lot. So that was definitely tough. But like I said, talking to so many good people in this organization and good teammates, the transition's been made, and we're kind of continuing to make that and taking strides with that. But like I said, I'm always going to be built off winning, and that's kind of how I always thrive. So try making that balance go.
Yeah, absolutely. Back in Philly, right?
Yes, sir. Back in Philadelphia.
Been to an Eagles game yet?
I have. I went to the Sunday night game, I think 2 weeks ago, against the Commanders. It was awesome.
Oh, wow. Been to a 76ers game yet?
I haven't been to a Sixers game yet. I mean, they're struggling right now, but I mean, I got to go to one soon. Hopefully they'll get a win and get hot here.
Yeah. So mentioning you're back in Philly, tell us about your off-season routine.
Well, the off-season's great. So I took a couple weeks off trying to get the body right, everything heal. It was nice to catch up with some family and friends and do that kind of thing. And then I kind of get back into everything 3 weeks after I got home. A nice lifting routine. I go to a facility my high school coach actually owns, so it's nice to be able to be in there with some of the high school kids and some of my teammates from high school who work there. So it's nice to be able to train with them and kind of go through this process with them as well. Because they take pride in how I play and how I do in the training in the off season as well. So it's nice for them to for me to have that support system with them. I know they really care about it, and I really trust and believe in what the stuff we do. So I kind of go in there in the morning, get my lift in, do some hitting stuff, and then I'll kind of stay around the facility and help the other kids out, the younger high school kids, and kind of help the facility go with not lessons, but kind of just coaching around there. So I enjoy that, and it's been fun.
That's all the business I got for you, Bubba. You want to answer some fun questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. I believe it was the Big Ten tournament, maybe, or maybe a regional game, where you're running to first base and got called out for being out of the baseline, and you weren't. So First of all, I guess, were you out of the baseline? Looking back at the video.
I'm still going to hold my ground and say I wasn't. I don't think I'll ever get over that one.
How pissed were you whenever they called you out?
To this day, I think that's the most mad I've ever been in my entire life. So.
Demon, man.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that call.
Absolutely. Okay, so Taylor Young just recently got married. He was your roommate when you first got into pro ball there at Rancho. You guys are best friends. So, hey, you want to get him up to Philadelphia to get him some cheesesteak. He wanted to get you down there to... Yeah, get you down there to Monroe, Louisiana to get you some good gumbo. Well, you had the chance to go to his wedding. I'm sure you did, right?
Oh, I did. Yeah, it was great. It was so much fun.
Okay, so how was the gumbo?
Oh, the food was amazing. Even the rehearsal dinner, there was a full Louisiana meal, and I was nervous about it at first, but I didn't know if I could handle the spice, but it was unbelievable. I think they had me try some things I'd never tried before in my life. I couldn't even tell you what it was called, but it was all good. So I had a great time. It was so much fun meeting his family and all his friends. It was an unbelievable time. An awesome experience.
Did you go to the Love Shack?
We did everything that there was to do. It was amazing. I love it. I'm excited to go back, honestly.
Yeah. Can't wait till you get him up to Philadelphia and you put one of those cheesesteaks in him, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to get him up here for the Eagles-Cowboys game and show him what Philadelphia is all about. So that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Okay, so what is the funniest thing you can remember from any of your bus rides so far as a pro?
Oh, gosh. I don't know the specific one, but just playing Mafia with the guys on the bus. Yeah. I mean, it's an unbelievable experience. There's something funny that happens every time. And just seeing that side of the guys is so fun. Just getting the game is always kind of more serious, and seeing everybody work so hard it's fun to see the other side of people on the bus when we're just letting loose and playing games. So playing Mafia is definitely one of my favorite experiences. There's always some funny moments in there.
Okay, so you're from Philadelphia, so I'm sure you've had to deal with snow and all that. You played in Tulsa. I know you've dealt with the tornadoes and the thunderstorms. What's the craziest weather event you can remember?
The craziest weather event I've played in college or pro ball?
Either.
Oh, okay. So I was probably in Michigan, I think my sophomore, junior year, and it was maybe 30 degrees or 28 degrees, and there's snow on the field, and the other team was shoveling snow off the field before the game, and we're just waiting there for 2 hours for the weather to hit 28 degrees so we can start the game, because that was the rule. So it finally hits 28 degrees, and we start this game, and it was probably the coldest I've ever been in my entire life, and it was some experience, but it was one I'll never forget, honestly.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, we all love the game of baseball, but it gets a grind. 6 months, it's every day. It's hot, it's cold. Your body hurts after about the fourth game of the season, right? Over under on the amount of time that, let's say you show up to the clubhouse. This has happened several times. And Dennis comes down to tell you that the game's been rained out that night, right? Over under on the amount of minutes it takes everybody to clear out of the clubhouse. Oh, gosh. I mean, I'm going to say 17 minutes to get out of there. From start to finish?
I'm going with the under. I'm taking the under.
It's July the 7th, and it's 800 degrees.
Oh, yeah. It's game 100, and there's rain out. Yeah.
17 minutes, that's a little long.
Yeah, the hotel bed sounds really nice.
I called Dennis one time, and he goes, yeah, we got rained out. He goes, I went down to the clubhouse, and they were already all gone.
Yeah.
You guys were gone by the time he even went down to tell you the game was rained out.
Yeah, we could hear the rumors swirling.
I got a kick out of that. It's crazy how much you love baseball, but whenever you find out you're not playing baseball that night, it's like the greatest news you ever got, right?
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, we love going out there and playing, but a nice day off doesn't hurt.
No doubt. Okay, so as a minor leaguer in the system, the Dodgers win the World Series, right? Mm-hmm. What is that like? Does that change anything as a minor leaguer? I mean, is there any different vibes to it, or what's that like?
Honestly, it just shows what we already know. I mean, how the greatness of this organization and the level of excellence that they expect. I mean, it just shows us, that's the top, that's the peak, and that's what we're striving for. So it really just is, I guess, an extra level of motivation for us to just kind of meet that level and meet that standard, to try and be a Dodger whenever that is. And if it's not a Dodger, maybe that level of success and will take us in great level somewhere else, maybe if it's a different profession or a different team, whatever it is. So honestly, it just kind of sets the standard for us. And it's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of a winning culture. So I really love that, and it was excited for the Dodger World Series champions.
So you grew up in Philadelphia, idolizing the professional athletes there for the Eagles and the Sixers and the Phillies and all those guys. Now you're your own professional. You're a professional yourself, right? What's the coolest moment or the first moment you can remember when somebody asked you for an autograph and you're like, damn, I'm a pro just like the guys that I idolize, right?
Oh, yeah. It was definitely in spring training, I think, when I backed up for one of the big league games. I'm walking out to the field with a bunch of cool guys. I mean, around me was Gavin Lux around me. I mean, Rush. I think Rush was next to me too. And just walking down the tunnel, going to the field, and people asking for the autograph was just a cool experience. And seeing how like the big leaguers handle it and stuff like that was just really eye opening. Just picking their brains in that dugout was cool too. So just kind of being in that moment, and hopefully I can be in that moment a little bit more. But I mean, that was awesome. That was like the first moment I was like, this is cool to be here, and I really feel like I belong. So it was awesome.
Yeah. Hey, what are your goals for 2025?
Honestly, I don't set numerical goals that often, but honestly, I just show up every day and just, if I can just be myself and play my game and just have fun with it, that's really just my goal, to go out there and have fun and do the best I can. And I think I believe in all the preparation that I'm doing, and everything is kind of geared towards having another good season and building off what I did last year. But if I can go out there and just play hard, and not take it for granted, that's really my own goal. My only goal is just to give it everything I have. If I can do that, I think the number side kind of takes care of itself. And I don't like to set limits on myself. You know, I think if I want to hit 10 home runs, I think I get to 10. I think I can go more. So I don't really want to put a limit on myself in terms of that. But I think if I can just, like I said, handle my business and go out there and have fun with it, I think it'll line up good.
So you knew this last question was coming. I asked you this the last time we were on. I'll probably ask you this every time that I get a chance to talk to you. Okay, so your real name's Chris, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you haven't been called Chris since you're like 5, right?
Yeah, I don't think anyone. I think my mom might be the only person who calls me that.
I remember I called you Chris, and you're like, no, dude, my name's Bubba, right? Okay, so I got to know the story. Tell us the story again.
Oh, yeah. So my neighbors, when I was growing up, the sister or the daughter couldn't say the word brother. She would say Bubba instead. And so every time she would call me Bubba, and I think it just caught on with my family and my friends. Then we ended up going to the same school, and that's how it just caught on. And so from then on, I was just Bubba to everybody, and it's stuck for lifelong. So it's been definitely something I love, and that people always call me. So I haven't heard Chris actually in a while. So it's funny.
Yeah. So you're from Philly. You're far from a redneck, but you ever get accused of being a redneck with that
people
name?
Always say that. People say, "Oh, you don't look like a Bubba," but then when they meet me, they love me for a long time. But I couldn't imagine calling you anything else. So it's funny. It's funny seeing that the differences, and then people coming back. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't even imagine calling you Chris now.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Hey, Bubba Alleyne, this has been a wonderful honor. It's always just a great time to get a chance to catch up with you. I know we talked a couple of times at the ballpark, not on record for interviews and stuff. So it's always a pleasure to get to speak with you, Bubba. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. A pleasure to be on this show, and always a pleasure to talk to you too, off the record, on the record, either way. So thank you for having me.